This week on Our Mountain Bike Journey, we are going to do the comparison video between the Wahoo Elemnt Bolt and the Coospo BC200. I reviewed this a couple weeks ago, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn both of these on, double click on the power on the Coospo BC200 and it comes on pretty quick. You hold down the power for the Wahoo Elemnt Bolt, and it takes a little longer for it to come up. The Elemnt Bolt starts off with showing the stats for your ride that you're going to have. It has a history, a start, and going to the next page. If you click on history, you'll see your past rides. You can go back through the various ones or just go back. On the BC200, you have options for starting your cycling. You have configuring your bike, your user settings, configuring your sensors, your history, syncing it, selecting your GPS, or going into settings. Most of the time, you're just going to want to go straight into cycling. So you hit cycling and it immediately starts. Counts down from 3 and then it'll start. If you're out riding, you'll see your MPH based on GPS or sensor if you have hooked up, and it'll track your moving time, your distance, your heart rate. You'll need a heart rate monitor connected to it. You also have cadence. It will sync up with any cadence sensor that's out there that supports Bluetooth or the ANT platform. Then it shows you your outdoor temperature, which is, it says 78.9, and then your calories. On the Wahoo Elemnt Bolt, we can hit start and it starts to ride. It shows my heart rate, which it's reading off of my Whoop sensor, and then how many miles you've gone, the clock, how long the ride is, your RPM, average miles per hour, calories burned, and maximum MPH. And it will count that off. I have mine connected up to the Wahoo speed sensor, so it gets the speed and the cadence and everything from that. You can hit page and it will show you your grade, your feet climbed, feet descended. It'll acquire a GPS signal so you can see what route you're on and where you are. And it will also show you nearby segments from Strava. If you want to stop, you hit pause. You can hit stop and you can end ride. So you can either hit no, delete, or yes. If you hit yes, it'll save it to Wahoo, as well as if you have it synced with Strava, it'll upload it to there. I am going to say delete because I do not want this data. There you go. Pressing this button, it'll show you another screen where it has your max speed, max heart rate, average heart rate, max cadence, average cadence, distance, and time moved. Doing it again will show you a larger screen of power, cadence, average power. Doing it again just shows you, I think this is the first one, yeah. So this is the main screen. There's no real way of making these screens larger. You just have different screens that you can look at. Altitude, once again, is a little off. I am not 768 feet up. We're nearly at sea level. We're closer to 300 or 400 feet, so I'm not sure where it's getting that. 82 now. Okay, so let us stop here now. And we will end and delete that again. Now going back over to here, I believe, there we go. Hitting this up button here will increase the font, which is really nice. If you just want to see your MPH and how many miles, you can bring this up really big so you can easily see it while riding on your bike. You can even get it all the way up so the only thing you see is your MPH. and hitting the bottom button will shrink it down until you can see everything. So you could pick the size that you want that works best for you. What we see here are the sizes of them. The BC200, well, obviously is a little thinner, as you can see. Not a huge amount, but they both feel about the same weight. This one might be a little heavier, but then again, it's not enough to make any big difference while you're writing. This has a little bit bigger screen, which I think is helpful in the fact that with this one, the contrast is lower. You can still see it outside. You have no problem seeing it outside. You can see it in the shade. It's a little bit bigger screen, so I think that kind of helps with the fact that it's not as contrasty as, say, the Wahoo. This is a smaller screen, but again, I have no problem while reading this while I'm on the trail. And being able to enlarge it is very helpful. They both can lock onto your bike the same way. They have this little clamp. You just put them on and twist it straight. Put them on, twist it straight. So that works out well. And in the previous video on the review, I showed how to put those on, and it's pretty simple. Now let's go and look at, we did a comparison where we both rode this. My son used the Coospo BC200 and I used the Wahoo Elemnt Bolt, and we went on a ride just around the neighborhood and tracked it. Let's go over and look at the data comparison between the two. So we see here the comparison between the BC200 and the Bolt. It shows a little bit of a discrepancy, but not too big. The distance on the Bolt is 6.82 miles, while the BC200 was 7.33. The odd thing I've been finding is every single time I've tried to capture a GPS track on the BC200, it shows us going across the Atlantic Ocean, no matter what GPS setting. So this doesn't really help and seriously hinders the usability of the software. The average speed on the BC200 is 5.44 miles per hour, max speed 17.75. Elevation gain is 311 feet. We show, though, an elevation gain of 426 feet on the Bolt, and the average speed is 5.8 miles an hour. We were riding side by side pretty much the entire time, so I would say, since I was using a sensor on the Bolt, that it's going to have the more accurate run. But seeing that it's using GPS for the BC200, it's pretty close. On the Bolt, though, you can see a very clear GPS track of where we went on our ride. Again, we see a max speed of 17.75 with an average of 5.44. The average for the Bolt shows at 5.8 with a max speed of 20 miles an hour. So just because of the GPS differences and the fact that I was using a sensor on the Bolt, I would say that they're going to be pretty close on there. The rest of the differences is the GUI UI interface on the app itself, on which one you prefer. Our next screen deals with elevation, which I think is another weak point on the BC200. I do not exactly know where it's getting its data from. It should be getting it from GPS, and we are definitely not, between, what does it look like, around 960 feet and nearly 1,080 feet. We're closer to what the Bolt is showing. It says the max altitude was 398 feet. That makes a lot more sense, seeing that we are over on the East Coast near sea level. Our final comparison screen here is just the heart rate. Again, this one doesn't really correlate to either devices because you're getting it off of a sensor anyway. So it's just more of how it displays it on the app through the UI. So obviously we're going to have different information here because one was worn by my son and the other one's by me. But this is just kind of to give you a view of what it looks like in the app. In the end, they both can do the basic functions of showing you your speed, your distance, your calories burned, and heart rate. So if that is all you need in a bike computer, either one of these will do the job. And if that's really all you need, then the Coospo BC200 is going to be your best bet because it is a lot cheaper. It's around $80, whereas the Wahoo Elemnt Bolt is around $230. Now, maybe it's just an issue with my unit, but I've never been able to get the GPS to work. So if you need GPS routing and tracking, you definitely need to go with the Wahoo Elemnt Bolt on this one. Now the Bolt does have other features it can do. You can enlarge the screen like I mentioned, but you can also import routes from Mountain Bike Project and Strava so that you can look at your route while you're going on your ride. The Coospo BC200 does not have a way of importing routes or even seeing where you currently are on your ride. In the end, for myself, if I were to have to pick, I would choose to go with the Wahoo Elemnt Bolt, as it's just a better interface. I like the screen and contrast a lot better, and I like the additional options that I have on there. So I don't mind paying the extra cost to do that. And I definitely want to be able to track my route on my ride and be able to have that for, data comparison later on in the road. So I hope you enjoyed this comparison video between the two of them, and hope it's been able to help you make a decision if you were looking at the BC200, deciding if it was something that you wanted to purchase for yourself. Again, if you have any questions about the two products, feel free to comment below and I'll do what I can to answer them. Have a nice day. Bye.